China's electric vehicle (EV) market has grown at an astounding rate, setting the stage for a future where affordable, high-quality EVs dominate global roads. BYD's Seagull, a compact and budget-friendly electric car, is emblematic of this transformation, reflecting not just technical advancement but also a broader push to make EVs accessible to a mass audience. If it expands globally, it could drive a seismic shift in the car industry, much like Japan's economical gas-powered vehicles did in the 1970s. With nearly 58% of global EVs produced in China, the country has established itself as the leader in sustainable transportation. In 2023 alone, China exported over 1.5 million EVs, and its domestic sales reached over 9 million units. A significant percentage of these are battery-only EVs, highlighting the preference for fully electric vehicles over hybrids, which use a mix of battery and gasoline power. China's government support for clean energy has driven this trend, making EVs not just a luxury item for the wealthy but an accessible option for the average consumer. BYD, an acronym for Build Your Dreams, is one of the companies leading this charge. Alongside SAIC and Geely, it has ridden the wave of electric vehicles to capture the domestic market and start to penetrate international ones. The BYD Seagull, priced at around $11,000, stands out for making electric transportation affordable, even compared to gasoline-powered cars in the same category. A shorter-range version of the Seagull can be bought for less than $10,000, making it one of the cheapest electric vehicles on the market. While Chinese EVs face high import tariffs in markets like the United States, their potential to compete globally is undeniable. The Seagull's price is its most impressive feature, as it significantly undercuts the cost of many Western and Japanese EV models while still providing reliable quality. Unlike luxury EVs from brands like Tesla or Mercedes-Benz, which remain out of reach for the average buyer, the Seagull brings electric transportation to the masses. Its affordability is achieved through several cost-saving measures. BYD manufactures many of its own parts, which reduces dependency on third-party suppliers and minimizes production costs. This includes the electric motor, dashboard components, and even the battery itself, which represents a significant portion of any EV's cost. BYD uses lithium iron phosphate (LFP) batteries in the Seagull, which are cheaper and more stable than lithium-ion batteries, albeit with a slightly shorter range. LFP batteries don't rely on nickel and cobalt, making them cheaper and more environmentally sustainable than other battery types. The Seagull's smaller size and lighter weight, 900 pounds less than a Chevrolet Bolt, further boost its efficiency, allowing it to get more range out of a smaller battery. The Seagull's design is also optimized for cost-effectiveness and efficiency. Instead of dual windshield wipers, it uses a single wiper, cutting down on both production costs and weight. This might seem like a small detail, but it reflects the broader design philosophy of reducing waste and maximizing functionality. It's built as a hatchback with 4 seats and 5 doors, making it practical for urban use. Its compact length of just 3,780 mm makes it easy to maneuver in congested city streets. The Seagull's simplicity does not detract from its durability. Reports from those who have tested the car suggest it feels well built, not flimsy, despite its low price point. For instance, Coft Global, a US-based consultant that examined the Seagull's design, found it to be robust, noting that BYD's approach to manufacturing exemplifies cost-effective innovation. The Seagull's sturdy build is an example of BYD's strategy to provide quality without inflating costs, a tactic that could make it competitive in Western markets if tariffs were reduced. BYD's strategy isn't limited to the domestic market. The company has begun selling its vehicles in Latin America and Europe, tailoring models to meet regional preferences and safety regulations. In Latin America, for instance, the Seagull is priced at around $21,000, while in France, BYD offers a higher-end model called the Seal for $50,000. This shows that BYD is capable of producing both budget-friendly and premium EVs, making it a versatile player in the global market. In Europe, where environmental regulations are strict and demand for EVs is high, BYD's entry could challenge established brands like Volkswagen, which are known for their innovation in clean transportation but struggle to match BYD's low-cost production methods. If BYD can secure a foothold in these regions, it may expand further into North America, especially if tariff policies become more favorable. The US government is already taking steps to protect domestic automakers from the influx of affordable Chinese EVs. President Biden's administration has indicated it may impose a 100% tariff on Chinese EV imports to shield American jobs and reduce potential national security risks. This protective stance is reminiscent of the trade tensions seen during the rise of Japanese automakers in the 1970s, when Toyota and Honda's fuel-efficient cars captured significant market share in the United States, displacing American brands like General Motors and Ford. These protective measures reflect a broader concern among U.S. policymakers and automakers about the competitive edge that Chinese companies, particularly BYD, hold due to government subsidies and a more favorable regulatory environment for electric vehicles. Companies like Tesla have expressed worry that Chinese-made EVs, with their lower costs, could outcompete American models in global markets, potentially threatening the profitability of US-based EV manufacturers. The rise of affordable Chinese EVs, led by models like the BYD Seagull, is set to disrupt the global automotive industry. Western automakers, particularly those in the United States, have traditionally targeted high-income consumers for their EVs, creating a market where electric cars remain relatively exclusive. China's EV manufacturers, however, have democratized access by making EVs affordable for everyday consumers. This shift could lead to a transformation in consumer expectations for EV pricing, quality, and availability. For example, Japanese carmakers like Toyota and Honda, which once led the market in affordability and reliability, now face a new kind of competition as Chinese companies prove they can deliver similar value in the EV space. The affordability of Chinese EVs may even encourage governments worldwide to accelerate the transition to electric transportation, seeing it as a way to meet environmental targets without overburdening consumers with high costs. Moreover, China's dominance in battery production and technology will continue to be a strategic advantage. The country produces about 80% of the world's lithium-ion batteries, which are essential for EVs, giving it leverage over global battery supply chains. This allows Chinese companies like BYD to keep costs low while securing a supply of critical components, positioning them well in the global EV market. The BYD Seagull represents more than just an affordable electric car, it symbolizes China's potential to reshape the automotive landscape. By offering budget-friendly EVs that appeal to a broad range of consumers, Chinese manufacturers like BYD are challenging Western automakers to rethink their strategies. As BYD and other Chinese EV makers expand into international markets, they may force a paradigm shift in the industry, pushing competitors to prioritize affordability and innovation. For now, tariffs and trade barriers may slow their entry into the US market, but as the demand for affordable EVs grows worldwide, BYD's Seagull could become a familiar sight on roads across the globe. The rise of this low-cost EV suggests that the future of the automotive industry may be both electric and economically accessible, thanks to China's ambitious innovations in electric vehicle technology. The VP of Design referred to the future of electric vehicles, EVs, as robots on wheels. Leading this charge is Seagull, the world's largest battery maker, which unveiled a battery capable of providing 370 miles of range with just a 10-minute charge. This breakthrough is a game-changer for long-distance travel, allowing automakers to offer vehicles with more spacious interiors and luxurious back seats, a key selling point as customers increasingly demand more comfort. These advancements in battery technology are driving a global wave of innovation that is sending shockwaves through the auto industry. As of now, companies like Tesla remain dominant competitors in the EV space. Tesla, in particular, is well positioned to capitalize on the Inflation Reduction Act (IRA) tax credits more effectively than other automakers. While Tesla shares were down nearly 2% this afternoon, even Tesla is feeling the pressure from the rapid expansion of Chinese brands, which are gaining a solid foothold in Europe. Chinese-made EVs now account for 10% of the market, prompting investigations into whether these vehicles are being unfairly subsidized by the Chinese government. The latest Beijing Auto Show was a clear demonstration of how Western brands like Ford and General Motors struggle to match the level of excitement surrounding Chinese manufacturers. These Chinese brands are now looking to expand further, targeting the US market. For example, Ford faced a rocky start with its Mustang Mach-E due to production delays, while Chinese companies like Geely have already begun exporting their Polestar models to the US, navigating steep tariffs. The landscape is rapidly changing, and US automakers, particularly Ford, must adapt quickly to keep pace with these challenges from Chinese competitors. Ford CEO, Jim Farley, has been witnessing the swift rise of Chinese electric vehicles in Europe, where they now account for 10% of the market. This rapid shift is forcing Ford to rethink its strategy and develop a more affordable EV to compete effectively. Farley's warning, "Don't take anything for granted," emphasizes the seriousness of the situation, underlining that American companies can no longer rely on their legacy or existing market share. As the electric vehicle race intensifies, U.S. and foreign automakers have backed the Environmental Protection Agency's (EPA) new, tougher vehicle emission regulations in response to challenges from some states and environmental groups. To remain competitive, automakers must innovate rapidly in both design and cost efficiency to address the challenge from China's rapidly evolving EV industry. However, China's dominance didn't come overnight, it began decades ago. To understand the current landscape, it's essential to look at the history of China's electric vehicle push. China's journey with electric vehicles is a story of transformation. In the 1990s and early 2000s, China was struggling with thick smog in its cities, and the country was heavily reliant on oil imports to meet its growing energy needs. The government recognized that significant change was necessary not just to clean the air, but also to reduce dependence on foreign oil. In response, China made a bold decision to push for the development of electric vehicles. What began as small, government-funded experiments turned into a massive nationwide transformation. China quickly shifted from barely producing any EVs to becoming the world leader in the electric vehicle market. In 2001, China made a significant investment in clean energy technology through the 863 program, which aimed to find new solutions to reduce pollution and dependence on oil. Initially, progress was slow due to high costs and low consumer demand. However, government support was crucial in changing this trajectory. Over the next 2 decades, the Chinese government invested heavily in research, collaborated with state-owned automakers like SAIC Motor and FAW Group, and offered consumer incentives to kickstart the EV revolution. A key turning point came in 2010, when China introduced its first major policy framework for promoting EVs, including subsidies for consumers and investments in charging infrastructure. This led to the launch of the New Energy Vehicle (NEV) plan in 2012, which set ambitious production and sales targets for battery-only electric vehicles, BEVs, and plug-in hybrids. The 2010s saw rapid advancements in EV technology, primarily driven by domestic companies like BYD Auto, which transitioned from manufacturing batteries to producing electric vehicles. Other automakers like SAIC Motor and Geely joined the market, sparking innovation and increased competition. By the mid-2010s, China's EV market began to gain significant momentum, with the government offering aggressive incentives to boost NEV production. Major cities, like Shenzhen and Beijing, transitioned their public transportation fleets, particularly buses, to electric power. In just 3 years, all 16,000 buses in Shenzhen went electric. The city's public transit drivers were retrained, and 5,000 charging points were set up at bus depots. China's ability to develop EV infrastructure also grew dramatically. Cities started mandating the construction of public and residential charging stations, which contributed to a wider adoption of electric vehicles. By 2020, China became the undisputed global leader in EV production and sales, accounting for over 40% of global EV sales. That year alone, 1.3 million plug-in EVs were sold in China. This rapid growth was fueled by consumer demand, improvements in technology, and government policies, including strict quotas on EV production for automakers. Domestic manufacturers, particularly BYD, NIO, XPeng, and SAIC Motor, continued to innovate, producing affordable EVs that competed effectively in terms of quality and performance with foreign brands. Tesla, recognizing the importance of the Chinese market, opened its Gigafactory in Shanghai in 2020, marking the first time a foreign automaker was allowed to fully own a factory in China. Tesla's success in the Chinese market further validated China's growing EV industry. In 2021, the Chinese government reinforced its commitment to NEVs with the announcement of the dual credit system, which set mandatory quotas for automakers to produce electric vehicles. The government also began reducing subsidies to push the industry towards self-sufficiency, encouraging manufacturers to innovate and improve cost efficiency. A key element behind China's success in the EV industry is its control over the battery supply chain. Batteries account for a significant portion of an EV's cost, around 1/3. Recognizing the importance of batteries early on, China made substantial investments in battery production. Companies like Seagull, Contemporary Amperex Technology Company, Limited, became global leaders in the battery market. By 2020, China was responsible for over 70% of the world's lithium-ion battery production. Seagull not only supplies batteries to Chinese automakers but also to global giants like Tesla, BMW, and Volkswagen. This control over battery production gave China a huge advantage in the EV market, making it difficult for other countries to catch up. With such dominance in the battery supply chain, China secured its position as a key player in the global transition to electric mobility. Despite facing challenges such as the gradual phase-out of government subsidies and a need for further innovation in charging infrastructure, China remains committed to becoming the global leader in green technology. Although China's EV industry is a global leader, it faces challenges. One major issue is the gradual reduction of government subsidies, which had previously helped keep EVs affordable for both consumers and manufacturers. As subsidies decline, companies are under pressure to lower production costs without compromising on quality, which is driving innovation in areas like manufacturing processes and materials. Another challenge is the inadequacy of charging infrastructure, especially in rural areas where access to charging stations is limited. This lack of infrastructure could hinder the widespread adoption of EVs in less densely populated regions. Furthermore, China is facing pressure to develop emerging technologies, such as solid-state batteries, which promise to revolutionize the market by offering improved safety, faster charging times, and better energy storage than traditional lithium-ion batteries. Despite these challenges, China remains committed to its ambitious goal of carbon neutrality by 2060, positioning its electric vehicle market expansion as an essential part of its strategy to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. China's dominance in the global EV market is set to expand as it enters new international markets. Companies like BYD are already making strides in Europe and Latin America. China's early investments in battery technology and extensive EV infrastructure have enabled it to produce affordable, technologically advanced vehicles that appeal to a broad range of consumers. With ongoing government support and a continued focus on innovation, China is not just meeting its domestic demand for electric vehicles but is also poised to shape the future of transportation worldwide. As more countries move toward carbon neutrality, China's strategic positioning in the EV market could make it the undisputed global leader in the electric vehicle industry. It is well on its way to setting new global standards for affordability, sustainability, and performance in transportation.